Good morning. It's Brian. It is the Art of Startup War. Again, I'm on with a phenomenal entrepreneur, one that we have invested in. We at Expert Dojo, institutional investors, have seen this company, found this company, invested in this company, and very happy to have invested in this company. And today we're going to look at what we usually do for investors, which is to really dig in and then say, what is it about the company that make them an awesome investment opportunity for us? We are not telling you, even though most of you are investors who are listening to this, we're not telling you you should invest because that would be wrong. You should look yourself. What we are saying is that we're very happy we invested and we are going to take you into our diligence so you can feel a little bit better that an institutional investor has gone through all of this. And over the next 30 minutes, you're going to find out a ton about this company so you can make some decisions yourself. Okay. So, first of all, let's bring up Daniel. Let's talk about Ridelink and let's see how this company goes from where it is today, where we have a strong investment into it, to becoming a unicorn in the future. Welcome, Daniel.
Thank you very much, Brian. Happy to be here.
Excellent. It is late over there, right?
Yes, it's actually midnight in Kampala, Uganda.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you jumping on. I hate myself for actually having you up here this late, but I appreciate you. This is the grit of an entrepreneur. Midnight on a Friday night, awake and on a Zoom call, ready to talk about his business. I absolutely love it. And you've got some of your colleagues there as well, which is equally crazy, but equally admirable from an investor perspective. So let's talk about the company. Let's dig into Ridelink. I would love if we can to kind of go back to the genesis of the idea and how it came together. We all understand logistics. I really like your logistics as a service thing, but we all understand logistics. We understand the challenges, but take us back to the specific pain points that you noticed that you felt that you had to overcome to create a different world with Ridelink.
Thank you very much, Brian. And usually, I like to tell this story of myself, my personal experience. And yeah, so I'm currently 28, and growing up, I worked with my mom at a grocery store. And while there, ideally, we had to pick agriculture produce, that's bananas, anything agricultural, bring it to a collected store, and then take it to the marketplace, which is normally about 100 kilometers away. Now, to do that, you needed a truck. But over and over again, I saw that one of the biggest challenges we faced was how much it cost us to move the produce from the store to the marketplace. And we always spent about 40 cents on a dollar to just do that. So that's about 40% of our revenue was going to transport. And so fast forward, getting to university, I did a bachelor's degree in commerce, worked previously at Uber, and then just got to know how technology can help scale things up. And then when I came to start Ridelink, for me, the goal was how can I help people like my mother that run small businesses and produce things but have to get them to the market space, to how can I help them do that at a more affordable cost and also just in time. And so that gave the birth of Ridelink. So the idea was really how we can cut the cost of transport for small businesses and help them deliver safely and just at the right price point.
Excellent. I love it. And then, so one thing is looking at that and logically saying, I see this as a problem. Another thing is actually building the technology that solves the problem. So, how did you go about then taking it from the genesis of the idea, which was, hey, we got a problem here within logistics and we're going to fix this, to actually going and fixing it?
Yeah, so while at university, actually, I met a friend who had done software. So I'm one of the founders, we're three founders. One of them is Amon, and Amon is the CTO at the company. And so I was coming from a business angle with strategy, sales, and marketing. And there was Amon who was very good with software. So the idea was, how do we match our knowledge and we create technology that's going to go and revolutionize how small businesses, not just in Africa, but around the world, are able to move their produce, move their cargo from one place to another. And so that's the two of us teaming up together gave birth to what Ridelink is. So he built the first code for Ridelink, and I was more of the business, bringing in the business knowledge of what's happening in the market, what can we do to improve, what already exists.
And how did you raise the money to be able to do this as well? Because again, not easy. Like three people come together, it's good. You pooled your resources. I like this. Like as we're diligencing companies, always in Expert Dojo, we're always looking to see which ones do we have who have got all of the gaps, the skill gaps filled in as much as possible, at least to get you to Series A. So I love that three of you came together. You had the biz dev, you had the logistics, and you had the development all in one place so each of you could focus on your area of expertise. But you obviously raised some money as well so you could make sure this thing works. Talk us through the journey of first of all raising money, and then I want to go into the journey of the build itself. How did you follow the user experience to get that right as well? But let's start with the money first.
Yeah, brilliant. So, right out of university, thankfully, one of the founders, the dad had a small boys room, a boys quarter room, and so we stayed there for about 2 years, and we built a business from there. We had in savings up to I think about $1,500. Yeah, so we put that together to just help us with our day to day running. We didn't earn a salary from the business for almost 2.5 years.
Wow.
um, yeah, and we kept building.
How did you
Then we did,
survive?
yeah, again, we had someone who had sheltered us, a friend's dad, and so we had access to meals, and we could find where to sleep. Yeah, and then we did a lot of grants. We wrote to over 1,000 applications for grants to
Wow.
different angel investors that could just invest in some sort of idea at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I think our first big break came when we raised our first $5,000 from grant. That was, I think, 2 years in the business, and then later we went on to raise a bit of 10,000, then got a few other investors that came on board, and yeah, until now when we had Expert Dojo, also investing, and we are on this journey, and that's how it's been really when it comes to the money raising. So last year we did a pre-seed round, and we raised a bit of money to help us, which has helped us to increase what we have done up to date. And yeah, we are still in the process of raising now our seed round.
Amazing. And how did you build that user experience out? Talk to me about like how you were, because I always find this part of the product fit, product build, product scale, just highly fascinating. Of like, as you come in and you have a preconception as to what you believe the problem is in the market, but then you have money, a little bit of money that you're then able to build out a user experience, a digital user experience for those customers to be able to then engage with that correct product fit that you're going to get to in the future. And it's like, and normally when you look at product fit, I always feel you people incorrectly say we pivot because pivot implies that you had the full solution in the first place, right? And none of us, not even me as an accelerator, we don't have the full solution. What happens is as we begin maybe based on our biases and based on what we think the market will like. Maybe we are 13% complete, maybe 3% complete. And then the following Tuesday, a startup that we would go to would be like, no, what you're doing is useless for me. But that helps us become 13.5% because our product fit becomes that little bit surer. So everybody's objective, all of our objectives is to get to 70, 75% perfect, pure product fit. Like that's a dream. Okay. So talk to me about the journey of going from that 13% product fit when you first started building and getting used to what you were doing, all the way through to building that out to where it is today.
Yeah, thank you. So the year is 2017. It's May, and we think we've thought about the whole process. I have my whole my mom's experience. So I think we are going to build something that is going to change not just my mom's life, but the lives of so many other people. And yeah, he's very skilled at software. He's been building software for over 10 years. And so it's like, Zizi, let's, pull together. On one end, we're going to have transporters. On the other end, we're going to have small businesses. And so we're going to create a mobile application, and they'll interact with this, get trucks whenever they need them. And yeah, it took us about 6 months to get the MVP. So we put it together, and we had created a small list of early users, about 200 small business owners to test and just give us the experience of the service. And so we tested it out after 6 months, and we had so many rejections. Um, no one was not just, I mean, they loved the product when you show it to them and they test, but then they don't get to use it. And even those that used it for the first time never came to use it for the second time. And so we got a lot of rejections. And we didn't get any paying customer until after 12 months
Hmm.
of us being in the business. That's when we got our first paying customer, who was actually my mom. And then later
Hmm.
introduced us to another person. And then, yeah, I think what happened is after that, I think when we got the first 100 users of the product, we then learned certain things in terms of how slow the technology was taking to just get, for example, pricing, the mapping, the different maps that were getting lost. And so we started changing, making iterations to that, and keeping testing and as we go forward. And yeah, I'm a strong believer in really that the dots will connect. That's for certain. We've so far made 3 versions of the Ridelink app, and the 3 versions seem to be making very huge changes every single time we make them, because we do a whole process of test when you hit, say, 1,000 users, and then make some iterations based on the feedback that has come, and that's how we've been going about it since then.
Amazing. And then so now you built it from your mom, which I love that your mom is your first user. That's awesome. And then you built it up to the first 100 users. How many users do you have today?
Yeah, so today we have about 100 people that are interacting with the technology every month.
Hmm.
That's 100 businesses that are using the service every month, and that's an equivalent of, again, we love to use the number of trips, because for us, number of trips completed equals a number of users. And so
Hmm.
right now we're doing 100 trips a month, and so that's how many users we're having. So, but to date, we've completed 86,000 trips, which
Wow.
is essentially pushing us forward. Yeah.
Very good. And then how do you go from 100 users to 1,000 users, from 1,000 users to 10,000 users?
Yeah, absolutely. So that's now the stage we're at. So because we started out of Uganda, Kampala, we have since we now operate in 7 markets with the service. But it's in some of these markets, it's really been test and see, test and see, test and experience. And so now we are at that stage where we want to go full blown out, where we can move from 100 users a month to 1,000 users a month to 100,000, and then so on and so on. So that's where we're getting to. So that's where now we're thinking about in our growth strategy, how we're going to do a lot of referrals, how we're going to do a lot of activations, how we're doing a lot of outbound calls, and having just conversations, having the business move from a small user business to now like massively used by the masses.
Great. And will you need much revenue, much, sorry, investment to be able to drive that revenue?
Definitely, yeah, because now we need a lot of money to achieve the growth that we want to achieve in the time that we want to achieve it.
Yeah. But and what is that growth milestone that you have for the end of next year? How many
Yes,
users would you like to have by the end of the year?
yeah, so we're looking at a 300% growth by the end of next year. So what that means is, if currently we're doing 100 trips, by next year we're looking to 300x, or do 3x of that. So that's about 300 trips every month. Yeah.
Hmm. And then and that would turn into how much revenue?
So currently, we are if we're able to complete 300 trips, so our GMV right now is at about $2 million. That's
Hmm.
GMV,
Yeah.
and we do about 15% of that. So us being able to do 3x of that would make GMV move to about 6 million.
Yeah. And then sorry, and then and that would bring you down to net revenue of monthly net revenue by the end of the year of how much?
That will bring us about 600,000.
For the whole year, which would put you on like 50,000
Not for the whole year. That's
for the
monthly
month,
revenue.
for the
Yes,
monthly
yes,
net revenue.
yes, yes.
That would put you in a great shape. And with only 400 trips.
Yeah, about 300 trips, because an average trip for us is usually about $1,000, because we do fast mile. and mid-mile logistics. So that's moving cargo across borders. So you move it from a port, from say a ship has docked at a certain port, and then you move it in containers, and you're taking it inside in country, and then you're moving cargo across cities within a country. So we don't do the last mile at the moment.
Amazing. Well, it puts you in great shape. And then, so what's the big vision? Like, where do we go to with this? Is it just about adding more and more longer trips to this? And then, or is it about expanding out the product range?
Yeah, so the big vision is so Ridelink is positioning itself as the preferred logistics partner for small businesses, right? What that means is for us, we want to redefine how small businesses move cargo, but using data. So basically, we are creating a data bank. So we want to be the largest data bank for logistics with all the information that you want. So what that would look like is if Brian runs a small business, right?
Hmm.
Um, Brian wants to, this is 2025. Brian is starting out his little factory of making, say, batteries, lithium batteries for solar, right?
Hmm.
But Brian's biggest issue is going to be he's going to produce from, say, Texas, but he has to send them across the world. So he needs a partner. What he has as an opportunity, what's available for him is either DHL or RMX or, the more established brands. But then sometimes brand may not be able to have direct access to them because either they're very expensive or they cannot get to him because he's in a remote part of the world, right? And so Ridelink wants to be that person that can reach the brand who is in the remote part of the world and get his goods moving all around the world. He has information of what truck is moving where,
Hmm.
what's currently present in what market, and what can I do about if I want to scale and maybe take my goods to Djibouti or take them to a place that you would probably have not heard of. So that's really what Riding is positioned. So we can enable trade for small businesses.
Fantastic. And so that really opens up absolutely everything. And to your point, like the revenue generation opportunities are absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, that's I mean it's incredible. I mean this year alone we've had about we've seen a lot of traction from industries that we would not even expect. So our key industries has been agriculture, manufacturing, health, and e-commerce. But this year alone, um, one of the things that has stood out is how much the value of even the goods that the customers are trusting us with, right? So um, this year alone, we've moved goods worth $10 million. Goods worth 10 million. That's a lot of trust from the customers, yeah,
That's
because
a
they
lot of
trust
trust.
because they trust in the business and how we are able to execute. And we see them growing. I mean, when you think about Africa in that respect, it's like the last frontier in the world. So there is a lot of industrialization that is just trying to start and take shape. So if you postulate that 30 years from now, 50 years, you see that a lot of industries are going to start coming up and they will need a logistics function. And so positioning Ridelic as the primary partner for small businesses, you help grow them and you grow with them. So you become their both local partner, but also their international partner.
I love it. Talk to me about the competition. Because it seems to me what I look for when I get a great company like this, as we did, and we get to invest in it, which we're very privileged to do, then I'm always looking to say, what are the things when it's like this, and you can see the company are going to fly? What are the things that could take the company down? What are the challenges that are out there? Who are the good competitors that we can start to look at to say which ones have we got to be careful of? So talk us through who the competitors are in the market, both the existing competitors and the newer competitors, maybe legacy competitors and newer ones that are coming in as well. And what should we be thinking of these competitors based on your differentiation?
Brilliant. Yeah, so I mean, we started out in 2017, and at the time there was very few companies that were actually doing e-logistics. In fact, I think the earliest e-logistics company in Africa, which is Kobo 360 that came out of Nigeria, started back in 2016. And then when you look at others like Lorry, there's Sandy, Army Truck, that operate in the same markets, started, a year after, at the same time we started as Ridelink. But we have since seen certain things that stand out. One of which is just the number of trucks. So the business is both demand driven and supply driven. Now,
Hmm.
the reality in the market is demand is so much, but when it comes to supply, there is a big gap. There's a huge gap. And so fulfillment becomes an issue. People take on orders, but they can only do 30% fulfillment. And customers get frustrated. And then they say, you know what, let me just work with already established businesses. They have so much bureaucracy. They'll delay me. They'll tell me, we'll take your order in the next 5 days, not when I want it, but I'll trust that they'll do that. And that's been a challenge for most of the competition. So, what has Ridelink done about it? So, we have instead decided to position ourselves as, call it, an operating system for the industry, or think of it in terms of your phone, right? So when you have iOS or Android on your phone, you are able to have WhatsApp, Messenger, all these other apps work, right? When you take out Android or you take out iOS, then everything else crashes. So Ridelink is we built a hardware tool which is called a Rita, which we now plant in every truck that comes on the platform. And the Rita essentially provides one track and trace for the truck. It does weightage, track diagnostics, and all. It does about 5 different functions. Provides Wi-Fi to the truck, so it's given to a transporter, um, and they don't pay for it. They only get to pay for it after a trip has been completed on the platform. Now it's given to them for free. Yeah. And what does it give us in return? So we have information on the trucks that are on our platform, where they are, what they are doing, whether they're resting or they are moving. Now, that's information that we make available to our customers. So, what essentially we are creating now is an information bank where, even if there was a new logistics company that wanted to start business, they no longer have to worry so much. They could just come on the Ridelink platform and handle their fulfillment. No wonder even the would-be competitors, the lorries, the cobos, now come to us for fulfillment. They now come to us for fulfillment. So we are positioning ourselves as that platform where, whether you're a brand with your small factory and you want to move cargo, you come to Ridelink. Or you're a logistics company, whether you're DHL, whatever it is you are, and you probably want a truck, you will have this platform where you can see what's happening in the market. So it's sort of a market. You sort of create the market for everyone else to interact. So that's how we are positioning Ridelink.
Incredible. And I would say, look, in the last couple of minutes of this, let me throw in a couple of comments. Number one, from an investment perspective, I couldn't be more happy. We're in just a great shape. We want to support you. We want to help you become one of the biggest logistics company on the continent and beyond as well. From the perspective of your growth, absolutely phenomenal, massively commendable. You're driving your growth quicker than anybody else out there by making sure that you're going after more and more and more users. I like your focus on 300% growth, because that is the growth model of a unicorn. If you're hitting like 200%, 100%, 300% every year for a period of 4 to 5 years, you are a unicorn. You get to that model. So I love that you're positioning yourself for Series A next year, which I think is great. And I'd like to finish it, if we can, by you sharing, first of all, your contact details. Everybody knows they can contact me at Brian at expertdojo.com, but they should also be able to contact you direct as well, Daniel. And then finally, look forward 5 or 10 years in the future, and you want to look at Ridelink, and there's two people in a room and they're talking about Ridelink, and one of them makes a statement of what Ridelink is in a very factual way. I want you to tell us what that is. What are those people in a room talking behind your back saying that your company represents to them as consumers 10 years in the future? But start with your email and your contact details.
Brilliant. Yeah, so my email is daniel at ride-link.com. That's
Perfect.
Yeah, that's Daniel at ride-link.com. You can check us on our website as well. That's ridelink.com. Yeah, so 10 years from now, two people sit in a room and someone is talking about Ridelink. Yeah, so Ridelink is Ridelink has redefined logistics around the world, has redefined how businesses move their cargo across the world. That's Ridelink 10 years from now.
How?
Yeah, so for the very first time, now everyone that wants to move cargo is able to do so because of data that has been given to them. That's been like so many data points have been collected together. So they have a lot of data, and now they can easily make decisions that are almost inch perfect because of that data.
Now we're talking. That's what you're going to be doing. You allow for precision movement of cargo anywhere on the continent where you can rely on the most efficient delivery of that cargo in the same way that you can rely on a pizza being delivered within 30 minutes of the time when you most want a pizza.
Absolutely,
I
yes.
love it, buddy. Thank you, my friend. It's a pleasure having you on here. Everybody knows how to contact you. Anybody who wants to check in on the diligence we've done, you're very welcome to contact myself at any time. And otherwise, I wish you the best. Let's build a unicorn.
Sharp. Thank you so much as well, Brian. I appreciate it.
Awesome. Okay, my friend, that's a wrap.